Oh, yes, it was Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson once said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Have you ever been in a situation where life was just handing you, man, them punches in bunches, and it was coming at you from the right, the left, the up, the down, and all around? And every time that you made a decision, you were full of regret. You were in a rock and a hard places where you were. And that's what today's episode is about. I've been there. I understand. I recognize. I have one judge tell me in the court of law, told me if you were a horse, I wouldn't bet on you. You'll be back. And he was a lie, just like the devil out of the pit of hell. I did not go back. I did not give that place my life or my days. And see, back then, I was under what they call wet and reckless. It's one of those things now it's called driving under the influence. They had to include all other mind-altering, mood-changing substances. But back then, it was just called wet and reckless. And I had a couple of them. And boy, they locked me up. They took my license. They made me go to these classes, these classes where they're going to teach you stuff. They wasn't teaching us a thing. They just wanted the money. Classes cost $20 every week. That's $80 a month right there. And then they took my license for a whole year. Couldn't drive a car. Had a car, but better not be caught driving it. See, that's the banana in the tailpipe. That's the trick. That's the rock in the hard place. They want you to be able to hold down a job, be gainfully employed, but at the same time, don't you drive to work. Well, how am I going to get there? I got a car. And when I finally served my year of going back and forth to these classes, they said, okay, you got to get insurance on a car. All right. I'm like, well, how am I going to get insurance on the vehicle? And if I don't have a vehicle anymore, well, you got to find someone else's car and insure that. More money. And then there was the fine. Gave me a big hefty fine, which I paid off. So I did their time. I paid their money. And I also went to their classes. I got the insurance, and that was just money on top of money on top of money. It's the trap. You see, that is the trap that they want you to violate. They want you to miss those classes. They want you to show up and not be able to pace, and then they got you. Rock in the hard place. But you know what I did, cousins? I went right back up to that judge. After I did everything and I got my car back, oh man, I had a pretty cherry red Cadillac and I put a tarp on top of it. And by the time I got my car back, it was a pastel pink. The rain had gotten under the plastic, and then the summer came and baked the tarp on top of my car. And I shined that bad boy up 3 times. I'm talking about 3 coats. And I drove it right back to court with my license. And I stood before the judge and the bailiff and the court clerk where they were, what are you here for? You're not on the docket. I just need to talk to the judge for a little bit. Can I just have 5 minutes of his time? All right, we'll fit you in if we can. Waited till the end. I had to see everybody coming through there. And boy, it was a lot of people standing right where I was in a rock in a hard place. And I stood before that judge and I told him the truth. I said, yeah, you said you wouldn't bet on me. You told me if I was a horse, you would not place a bet. But I'm here to tell you that I'm a human being. And I did my debt to society. I did my 3 days in the county, locked me up and everything else. I paid every penny, every cent. I attended every class. And I'm standing here right before you, right here, right now. And I'm letting you know that I bet on myself. Yes, you had a plan for me, didn't you? You had a plan to get me in the system. You wanted me to do long time, didn't you, Judge? Well, I'm here to tell you that you got one wrong. You had a plan until you got punched in the mouth. And if you've ever been in that situation yourself, cousins, you know what? You are in a good place to do something great. So yeah, come on, cousins, and let's pod about it.
In a world fraught with confusion, one man will break his silence.
yeah, you are now tuned in to the funkiest show this side of the Pecos, baby. Yes, welcome once again to Word to the Wise in episode 54, season 2, Rock and a Hard Place. This is a very important episode. It hits me right in my heart. It has me looking back at my own life several times, more times than I care to admit, that I had two decisions that were there available for me. I had two options, didn't like either one of them. And the old adage goes that you have to choose the lesser of two evils. Have you ever been in that situation, cousins? Did you have someone to help guide you through? Leadership development is something that I take pleasure in doing and teaching and mentoring young men, young women. But sometimes I was that person in need of mentoring, and I had to give it up to the two people that brought me into this world and showed me the ups and downs, the lefts and the rights, and everything else. Get your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Pops and Fat Mama. Yes, my parents, they loved me and they taught me well. But don't you know, even with the best upbringing, you can still be a hard-headed little rascal. That's what I was. Good upbringing, good advice. Didn't listen to it whatsoever. I like writing poetry, and I wrote a poem about that called Crash and Burn, and it goes back to just thinking about my life and my childhood as an adult. I've made some decisions that if I had made better choices, I would have had better options. That's what I believe. I believe life is made up from the decisions you make, from the options you have available. Make better decisions and you will have better options. That's the truth of the matter. When you make bad decisions, your options get horrible. But sometimes, even with your best thinking, you find yourself in that rock, in that hard place, and you find yourself, these are my only two. These are my options. Case in point, I once had a job, and I really liked the job in the beginning. You ever been there? Had the honeymoon stage, loved it, but then all of a sudden it started feeling like work. And I wanted to move up. I've always had this inspiration and aspirations to achieve greatness in anything and everything that I did. I wanted to move up, but it seems like it was always something pushing me down. I had to make a decision because I saw I can be great. I could be awesome right here at this job. But I'm going to have to change who I am to be able to do it. Yeah, I can't be me and be great at this job. I had to change so much. It was so many little changes. And I started looking at the outcome. By the time I make all these changes, I'm not going to be Terry anymore. No, I'm going to be something that you molded me into. And I happen to like me. So I had to walk away. I had to walk away from a job that I thought I liked. It was a great position. I was about to become the youngest fleet control manager at this rent-a-car company. That's what it was. And I started off washing cars, just a car washer. And pretty soon I was getting to the point where I could move up. They flew a guy all the way from Florida to California to talk to me. And he was telling me he was going to make me a night manager. But he said, Terry, that's just a preliminary. It's just a, probationary type of position. What I want to do is make you a fleet control manager. You seem to have your head on your shoulders. And I'm like, well, what does the job entail? Guy's name was Earl. Earl said, yeah, take you out to dinner and I'll explain it to you. So we sitting down, having our meal, chewing fat, breaking bread. And he said, the job is basically you driving a brand new car. You'll get one every 2 weeks. So we need you to drive 2 of them. And if you like them, We will buy hundreds of them and rent them out, but you got to drive it hard. You got to treat it like the customers would treat it. And then we'll take the inventory of all the cars and see how are they doing? Are they sustaining? Are they able to put some hard miles on them? Or do we have to get rid of them so quickly? And then we'll make our decisions on that make and model the next time around. I'm like, drive a new car? That's the job? He said, well, it's a report. You got to do a report twice a month and then a quarterly report where we're going to put all the data down, the metrics. And all I heard was, hey, drive a brand new whip and drive it hard. He said, yes, that's the job. I said, of course, I'll take that night position. And I ran my mouth. I told my friends who worked with me, came up as car washers like me. Don't you know sometimes you can't tip your hand? It's better to tell someone what you've already done instead of telling them what you're about to do. Boy, I ran my mouth, and sure enough, everyone's sitting around the big oval table, and we're having this meeting. And the meeting is about them about to announce me and another gentleman who's going to be the day shift manager. I would be the night shift, but it was just preliminary, man. This is supposed to be temporary. It's for the bigger job. Earl, that's it. Describe the day shift gentleman who would be the day shift manager. Now, I don't know what kind of deal he had on the table, but mine was a temporary. He named him. And then before he could name me, my homie stood up in the meeting, and Terry's going to be the manager on nights. It's on. And Earl looked like, nothing is on. I don't know what that means, but everything is very much off, in fact. Nothing is on. Nothing is on. We haven't made a decision just yet. And I left out that meeting. I'm like, Earl, what the hell happened? What happened, man? You took me out to dinner. You wined and dined me, my guy. What's going on? You told me I was going to be the youngest fleet control manager. That's the position you wanted for me. Why did you not announce it? He's like, I don't know if you're ready. I don't think you're mature enough yet. That hurt me. Man, the homies did me like that. Yeah, let me give a sound applause. That's why. Why did they stand up and run their mouth like that? You know what I did? Because I was young and dumb, I quit my job. I'm in a rock and a hard place. Do I stay here and work under disrespect, or do I quit my job and have no employment whatsoever? In a matter of 24 hours, I went from just elated, jubilation. I was so proud, and I was couldn't wait to tell my mom and dad, man, and to no job at all. With rent and car note, I quit. I walked. That's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, being in a rock, in a hard place. I want to help somebody out who may be going through some of these same things themselves. I have a quick little 3-step plan. Here at Word to the Wise, we are not just about jibber jabber and a bunch of lip service. I want to reach out and touch one person. That's my goal. That's what I ask God for. I pray for that. God, just let me just touch one. If I can just touch one soul. Because I know if I touch one, they will go out and touch 3, and then those 3 will touch 9, and that number will continue to multiply, and the word of God will take legs and grow like wildfire. I just want to touch one, God. And if I've already touched them, God, just give me one more. That's my daily prayer. So just don't take this as a podcast where you're going to sit here and listen to this old talking head. No, this is some good life information. It's some good instructions that can help you and give you maybe even a better life, a spiritual one that has growth, one that may even garner you some financial gains. Because when you make better decisions, you get better choices. First thing you have to do is just reframe the situation. If you can't change the situation, then you got to remove yourself from it. Got to shift your perspectives and start finding what is the most perfect answer, because every possibility is not going to be perfect. The lesser of two evils. And then explore, is there a third option? This choice, I can stay here and take it and eat this crow and be disrespected. I can do that. Or I can walk away from a job that was paying my bills, still have some upward mobility. It may knock me back a year or two, but I can still be the same person that I was with the go-getter instinct and the gumption, and I can rise like the phoenix. Those were my only two options that I thought. Was there a third one? If there is an impossible choice and it seems very binary, but there may be another path that you haven't considered. Think about that. Think about it. It may be another path that you haven't explored. And what happens if I choose nothing? That's when you got to reframe the situation. What happens if I just stay here, zip my mouth, do nothing? What are the consequences of my inaction? Because indecision, trust me, that's a choice. That's when you do nothing, you choose to do nothing, and that's a choice within itself. I didn't get the job, so I'm going to stop applying. I'm not going to apply. Well, that's a choice. That's a choice to quit. And don't you know that all those things I mentioned before, spiritual growth and financial gains and just self-respect and self-esteem, they don't come to those who do nothing. You got to work on it. And yes, love is work. Love is work. A lot of people look down on marriages today. They look down on relationship. A lot of people just want to just be single. If that's you, cool. That's your prerogative. But I'm going to tell you, if you want to get into this love and this marriage game, love is work. Yes, and you looking at other couples that are happy, you know what? That happiness comes at a price. This other side requires labor too. They didn't get that way by doing nothing. So evaluate your consequences, especially those of delaying or just avoiding the decision. Have a plan. And can I tell you this right here, right now, cousins? Hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. But I do hope that you guys will continue to check out this podcast while I got you here. Give me a like and a subscribe if you could. And if you'd like to check me out on all of these stations, I am out there. Yeah, I'm out here. I'm out here in these internet streets, cousins. I'm out here putting in work. And I definitely would love to see you support this program. You can find me on Zelle and on Cash App and on Venmo. Any donation, any love offering, any givings. Nothing is too large and nothing is too small. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you in advance. So we know that we got to reframe the situation, right? And then we kind of find if there's a third option. Okay, I got the rock. I got the hard place. Do I really have to go up that proverbial creek without the legendary paddle? Because, there is no return from there. What do I do next? Well, step 2, prioritize your core values. What do you value the most? And take your situation and say, if I were to clarify these matters, and I see what will happen when I come out on the other side of the situation. Did I compromise myself? Did I sell out my soul to be able to get to where I want to go? I chose. Yes, there are a lot of people in entrepreneurship, a lot of people in entertainment industry, a lot of people that are in finance and Wall Street and big business, or they may even be in sports, and they have to sell themselves. Okay, nothing wrong with self-promotion and self-marketing. get your name out there. But there is something wrong with selling a piece of your soul. Do I got to sell out to get in? Because you are no longer who you were before. All right. So if it's impossible choices that arise when the two of them are deeply held value and they both are in conflict, for example, if both career growth and family time are important to me, a new job with a high salary but long hours is going to take me away from the fam. I love both of these. I love to have a career with a high-paying job, 6 figures. But I love spending time with my family. Do I got to put in 75 hours a week to be able to do that job? Then you have to ask yourself, is there a third option? Could I make less money and provide for my needs? Have some of my wants too, and spend time with the family and be there. See, my wife and I, we made a decision early in our marriage, in our relationship, that I would work and I would bust hump, but we wanted her to be able to have some input on how our children were raised. Because if you send your children off all the time, especially if you're a single parent and you have no choice, they have an influence. They have a say-so in what type of person your child will grow up to be. And childcare is very expensive. And hey, I'm not knocking childcare technicians. If you out there doing your thug thizzle, keep in business because some people need it. But if you had to make a choice to make less money with 2 incomes, to have an influence over your very young, impressionable minds, well, yes, that is a rock and a hard place. And we made the decision that we would bite the bullet. And my wife, boy, she is a wonderful mom. Shout out to my woman. Yeah, she raised our kids to the best of our ability. But like I said before, hey, you can still wind up being hard-headed little rascals. Step 3, you ready to bring it home and take it home strong? Decide and commit. That's a big one. Decide and commit. Once you have analyzed and reevaluated all your choices and you saw that there is no third option, and then you got to prepare to deal with the outcome. Deal with it. Live with that decision. If you're going to make a decision, don't go into it half-hearted. Don't go into it tiptoeing. No. Do not go gentle into that good night. You have to truly embrace your decision, and you got to trust your gut feeling. Do you guys believe in premonition, intuition? Do you believe in having that sixth sense, that feeling? I just feel like this is the best choice. Then stay with it. Go with that. But how you going to handle the regret? There will always be a little bit. There will always be just a little bit of regret of what if? Oh my God. What if? That's a very important and powerful question, because you will start beating yourself in the head. What if I would have made the other decision? What if I would have not taken this choice? Well, you're going to have some regrets no matter which choice you make, because you can always look and say, what if, what would have happened? And you will paint a pretty picture of the choice you didn't make. Stand strong in your resolve. Stand tall in the decision that you make. Make sure everybody knows that, you know what, I may not be what I should be, and I may never be what I could be, but thank God Almighty that I ain't what I was. I came through that. I came through the muck and the mire. Yes, I did. I came out of the fiery clay. I came, and I didn't like how I was in the beginning because I didn't have true vision to be able to see a third. I was like a lump of clay on a potter's wheel. And every time that they pushed and pressed, I didn't like it. Life was just pushing and molding me. It knew what I could become. It saw that who I was. And see, a statue, it doesn't know that it's just a lump of clay. It doesn't see that you can be something more beautiful, but you're going to have to shed some some things. You're going to have to get rid of it because you just a square block, and I'm trying to turn you into a masterpiece. Every time that the master pushed and pressed on me while I was on a potter wheel, I didn't like it. But now I see where once I was blind. Now I see that the choices I made me who I am. And they're making you too. Do those things. I want to know, cousins. I want to have a cousin call in. I want to invite you to share your stories. I want you to come into the comments. Meet me right here on YouTube at The T Patrick. Come into the comments. Tell me, what was your rock in the hard place story? Have you ever been there? Share it. You can't keep what you have unless you give it away. So if you have a story, I want you to take a look at your life and just be transparent. Drop it in the comments section and let somebody know. Somebody may be going through that right now. Somebody may be in your identical situation and you can help them. You can't keep what you have unless you give it away. And you know what? I must give way to the time right now. This has been my time. It's been a beautiful day. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, cousins. And as always, I want you to know, keep doing what you got to do. Keep swinging like Tarzan. Yes, it's a jungle out there. But man, I see you, and I got your back like vertebrae, baby. Right here on Words to the Wise, we're going to keep doing what we need to do. And of course, yes, stand through the fire. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on next Wednesday, all right? And with that being said, hey, you know how we do it. Love, peace, podcast. Come on, be serious.